Hi there, welcome back to DefenderKev's workshop. Now today we're going to be replacing the cable that runs from the alternator to the starter motor on the Land Rover, because the old one was, the covering was brittle and the ends were just about frayed and coming off. So this is basically the cable we're replacing it with. It's 3 lengths of 14 gauge wire, which is basically the same as this one that runs from the starter motor to the battery. So when the alternator is running, it's actually sending power all the way back to the battery and charging it. But this stuff is a lot more bendy. So three bendy things is much more bendy than one big thick thing that doesn't bend so well. So the stud that we need to bolt this to on the starter motor is 8mm, and I do have these big crimp things, but even the biggest one that I've got, the yellow one, is not big enough to fit these 3 cables in. So we're going to have to do it with one of these battery terminals. Now these big things, you can crimp these if you've got a big hydraulic crimp tool thing like this, but I don't think that that's going to work for this, because I think the diameter is too much bigger than these 3. So soldering, I'm going to solder it. Now I do have down here, I've got my little solder station that I built, which has a tiny little soldering iron, which I don't think is going to be big enough for this job. So I also have a map torch, and this is where the fun starts. So what we're going to do is strip these down and go from there. Right. So the wires go in about that far, so if we strip back to there, that should be plenty. Okay, so now we've got all 3 stripped down, and they'll fit into there quite nicely. The next step is to get some rosin, and this is, I'm not entirely sure if this didn't get messed up in the post. I've seen somebody else do this, and they put this stuff called rosin on, which helps the solder flow. I thought it was supposed to be kind of gloopy, so you could just dip these things into it, but this is really crystalline. So what I found is, actually let me move the camera. Yeah, so what I found is, if you heat something up, it will actually take the rosin onto it. So let's get all 3 of these done. Hang on a sec. So now we've got those 3 rosined up quite nicely, so the solder should flow pretty well. Next step is to get everything hooked up. Can you see that? Yeah, that's about right. So what we're going to do is pop that in there so it's held quite well, and then extract the wires from the camera, stick those in. Now the thing is, I've only got 2 hands, so I'm going to need one hand to be holding the torch and the other hand holding the solder. So what we're going to do here is grab a little clamp. Right, so now we've got those 3 in there. The judicious application of heat and solder should get this all hooked up quite nicely. Okay, so that's done. You may have noticed on the video that I was doing that for a long time, and that is because down here, actually I've got another one that I haven't filled in yet. Bear with me. Yeah, I didn't notice that that's got a hole in the bottom. So I had it in here facing away from me. So every time I was putting soldering, it's going straight through the hole and out the bottom. So I found that. I've cleaned it all up, cut all the excess solder off. And so now it's solidly on there. That ain't coming off in a hurry. But it does look pretty messy. So next step is, where's my scissors? Shrink wrap or shrink tubing. So we cut a nice big piece like that, slide it over here, and it will just about go, which is good. So when it shrinks, it will tighten up quite nicely. And well, it really doesn't want to go over that. So because this is 12 volts and lots of amps, we don't really want it grounding anywhere. So we'll keep the shrink wrap right up to the end, and then judicious application of heat. You should be able to see as that gets hot, it starts shrinking around the things underneath. So we've just got to wait for the gun to cool down. Da, 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 da. Excellent. So now that's all done. Nice and neat and tidy, solid, that ain't coming off anytime soon. So I can now go fit this to the vehicle. What I might do actually is put shrink wrap down the whole thing, so then we know red is power. Cool. So thanks for sitting through another DefenderKev's workshop with me. Join me next time when I will be doing, I don't know actually. I'll be doing something else and it'll be interesting. Okay, thanks, bye.